Howdy, folks. Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer, and it has been several months since I did a video. And when I last left you guys, I told you that I wasn't sure what the future of this channel was going to be. I did say that the channel would remain and that I would hop in from time to time to do different types of videos and so forth. So this one is just going to kind of be what have I been doing since the last one, and then let's talk about some current gaming shit that's going on right now. So when I made that last video, we were preparing for a huge road trip, my wife and I, and we took 3 weeks, and we drove from here all the way down through, we stopped in Las Vegas, then we went to Arizona, and then from Arizona we went through Arizona, New Mexico, up into Texas, and across Texas, Oklahoma, and then the original plan was that we were going to go into, when we went through Arizona and all that, we were going to cut across over to Arkansas and then go up into like Tennessee and Kentucky to see some stuff that we'd never, like Nashville, we'd never been to Nashville and all that. But when we were doing this trip, we got caught right in between two tornado outbreaks. There was literally damage just in front of us. As we were driving through, there was ripped off roofs off of houses, all the billboards and shit were gone, all that. And then as we were going through trying to head into Arkansas, we got hit with a massive hailstorm where I thought on my truck, I thought the windshield was going to break. Luckily it did not. We got one tiny little chip in the windshield, but I was waiting for it to just get pulverized and like completely shatter and everything. But we had to go north to get away from the storms and stuff, and so we ended up going to Texas and Oklahoma, going up to we actually made it into Arkansas, and then we went north and we went into what was it, Missouri, something like that, and then we went across that way into Pennsylvania and all that. And then one of the main things of the trip was to make it into the New England area and see like Boston and a lot of New York and New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, all that stuff. So we did all of that and then started heading back across New York into the Ohio, Iowa, and then on I-80 coming back. And that was basically in the whole trip. And there's a lot of detail in there, stuff that we saw. We went to the Baseball Hall of Fame. We went to Dyersville, the Field of Dreams. We went to Niagara Falls. We saw all of Boston, did the whole Freedom Trail and all that other stuff. But there was a shit ton of stuff that I won't go into detail here. But it took about 3 weeks. And on the way back, the last 2-3 days, I started getting sick. And we were in Iowa, in Amana, Iowa, and there was actually a beer festival going on. Speaking of beer, cheers. This is the, I forget the, this is the Big Sky Brewing Summer Honey seasonal ale. And it is quite apropos for being the middle of summer. Quite delicious. So there was actually a brew festival going on in Amana, Iowa, and that's when I started feeling sick. And I thought it was allergies at first because when we were in Dyersville and all that other stuff, there was dust blowing everywhere, and I'm thinking, oh, this is just seasonal allergies. My hay fever. I have hay fever, and I'm thinking, that's my hay fever. But I started getting worse quickly. And bottom line is, I made the last 1,300 miles of the trip. I drove the last 1,300 miles of the trip with what turned out to be pneumonia and the flu, both simultaneously. I ended up at the ER once we got home. I ended up at the ER, the VA ER. And even the doctor was like, yeah, dude, you're pretty sick. And I'm thinking, no shit, and they had to put me on antibiotics and cough suppressant and some other, like 3 or 4 different medications. It was probably the sickest I've ever been. I can remember. And so that took like at least 2 weeks to get over. And then I decided, okay, it's time to start playing D&D back here at the table, and it's my turn to DM. So prepared, new campaign and all that for Greyhawk, and started DM, did a couple sessions or whatever, and then like last week, we missed a session because a couple people were not going to be able to make it, and last week, out of the blue, I threw my back out, and I mean out. Like, I've thrown my back out before, but not like this. This was my lower back, and like it felt like I damaged something, and luckily it's getting better now. But it was to the point where I couldn't sit in a chair. I could not have sat in this chair for more than about 15, 20, 30 minutes at the most without having to get and just lay down like on the floor flat to try and stretch my back out and everything. It's getting better now. So yeah, bottom line is big trip, big sick, and then big back pain. And now I'm actually getting into the swing of things where now that I'm feeling great, my back is, I figure by this Friday when we're going to play again, knock on wood, it should be close to 100%, back to 100%. So I thought, well, I can start doing videos again here and there, as I feel like I want to or whatever. I may do campaign updates on this campaign. I haven't decided yet if I want to go into that much detail or whatever. But that brings us to like now. So that's what's been happening. The new campaign back here that we're doing is the Saltmarsh campaign. Now, there's a 5th edition called Ghost of Saltmarsh, which is them making a 5th edition newer, approach to the campaign of Saltmarsh. I'm doing the 1st edition, Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh, and there is some stuff in the 5th edition book that expands upon the town and so forth and so on. So I'm adding some of those elements to it, and then adding my own stuff, my own homebrew stuff to that too. So it's kind of an amalgamation of those 3 things and whatnot. But anyway, so that's I even bought this. Cool off of Amazon. I bought this cool ship that you can use, and it's got the grid for minis and stuff, and it's 3 levels. And this was like $20 or $30 on Amazon, where like the Wizards of the Coast one, WizKids, whatever it is, the ship that they have for, using tabletop, it's like $200 or whatever. And I found this, you just put it together, it's just balsa wood. And it's real solid. Once you put it together, it's real solid and everything. And so that was only like $20, $30. So that was the way to go. So I got that, and we've been doing the Saltmarsh thing, and we'll be continuing that. So I also went to, a couple weeks ago, we had a retro gaming, not a convention. It was a retro gaming swap meet up in Salt Lake, which was at a venue that was not nearly big enough. I think they figured that out. For next year, they're going to have a bigger venue. This thing was freaking packed, and they had people selling all kinds of vintage gaming stuff, cartridges, gaming systems, tabletop stuff, everything. And I had some friends there that I've known from years in the past, from Dungeon Crawlers Radio. It's a podcast, and they were selling all the stuff they were selling at their booth. All that money was going to charity. And I don't recall the charity, but if you go to Dungeon Crawlers Radio podcast, if you follow them or whatever, they probably talk about it on there. But I ended up buying this, and I also got some dice, but I don't have the dice here to show, but I've got them over there. But I got this brand new, still shrink wrap, the Oregon Trail board game, which I've been wanting to get anyway because I loved the old Oregon Trail, the original, monochrome, one of the first computer games, where you die of dysentery all the time and so forth. So my wife and I are going to try this out. We're going to break into it and try the old Oregon Trail board game here. The only thing I wish about this is I wish there was a solo mode for this, because there are some board games now that have solo where you can just play it like if my wife was at work and I wanted to just, because the computer game obviously was single player, and so you could just play basically against the cards and everything, if you wanted to see if you could make it without dying of dysentery. So a couple of new things there I got, and that brings us up to now. So a couple of the things that are in the headlines, the gaming headlines that I wanted to talk about are obviously Starfield. So they had their big presentation for Starfield, and it's launching later, I think September. And I don't pre-order games anymore because I've been burned too many times. And I've cured myself of the collection edition, moron thing, which is like right back there with all the World of Warcraft collector's editions and all that stuff. I don't have any more room. I have enough stuff as it is. I don't need any more physical stuff. So I don't plan to get... I went on Amazon just to see if the collector's edition for Starfield, the physical one, was available. And of course it's already sold out. And that's because the fucking snipers that go on and buy all the copies, all the pre-order copies, and then they immediately go on eBay and put on eBay that they're selling their pre-order, guaranteed pre-order, whatever, and they're marking it up by like $200 over, what you could have gotten it for. And I've always hated that secondary market bullshit that the developers, the publishers don't make enough of collector's editions, and I kind of think they almost do that shit on purpose, to feed the FOMO, fear of missing out bullshit, where everybody rushes to get them, and then it creates this secondary market where these snipers can, gouge the shit out of people, instead of just manufacturing enough for the demand so that everybody who wants a collector's edition can just order one without all this extra bullshit. So that helped cure me of it anyway. But just as I thought, yeah, the snipers already got their mitts on the Starfield stuff. So if you were planning on trying to get one of those, yeah, you got to get it third hand through eBay and pay double the fucking price or whatever. So anyway, so what I've seen of Starfield is, in my opinion, is quite promising. The fact that my favorite component of Fallout 4, which was settlements, building settlements, and customizing settlements and all that stuff, is in Starfield. So whether you're on, I don't know how many different planets you're going to be able to build on. I don't know if you may be able to build anywhere you want to. I haven't seen that talked about specifically, or if it's going to be certain settlements that are in the game and then you just take over the settlement and you can build whatever you want. I don't know yet. But either way, that sounds promising. And the exploration thing, the No Man's Sky aspect of it, which is very similar to No Man's Sky. And then, of course, we'll have to see how the story is going to be and all that. But I'm going to get the game for sure. But I'll wait. When it first comes out, I'll wait a little bit, see how the reviews are, see if it's having any technical issues where maybe it's crashing a lot, crash to desktops. They're having video conflicts with video cards and things like that. I want to wait and see, kind of like with Cyberpunk 2077. I want to see if that kind of thing happens. What happened to Cyberpunk? If it doesn't, then I'll go ahead and get Starfield and jump into it and all that. So that's where I'm at on that. I don't know how excited you are for it. I am happy to see that Phil Spencer made sure they went so far as to buy ZeniMax so that Sony wouldn't make it a PlayStation exclusive. Wouldn't make Starfield a PlayStation exclusive. I think that's a pretty funny story because I hate the whole exclusive thing. It goes back to that whole fear of missing out, exclusivity, limited edition fucking bullshit that I don't like anyway. So I was pretty happy to see that they did that. I'm glad that they did that, because one of my other favorite franchises, Dead Island, has launched Dead Island 2, which we were waiting for a long time for that sequel to come out. And it's an exclusive on Epic Games, and they can kiss my ass. I'm not going to buy it on Epic Games. When it is available on Steam, I will get it on Steam. Just like Far Cry. Far Cry 6 was an Epic Game exclusive, and now it's on Steam. Just like all the Bethesda games were, some of them, not all of them, but some of them were only available through the Bethesda launcher for a while. And they finally got rid of their fucking launcher and said, we're going back to Steam. As it should be. All hail Gabe. All hail Steam. Yes, I am a Steam, what do you call it? Fanboy. Whatever. It's my favorite platform. Everything just works on it. And I wish all games were available through Steam. Anyway, so looking forward to that. I'll probably get it once everything's worked as the Starfield thing. And Dead Island 2, I'm going to wait until it's on Steam. I'm not getting it through Epic Games. Even though I really want to play it, I'm going to wait. It'll be on Steam at some point. Next thing. Star Wars The Old Republic. There was an announcement that BioWare was turning over the future development, to another company called, I think, Broadsword. And I did a little Googling and found out that Broadsword is the ones that actually are continuing development on Dark Age of Camelot and the other one. I can't. It's complete Ultima Online. So Ultima Online, Dark Age of Camelot, and now they're going to have SWTOR, Star Wars: The Old Republic. So there was some fear that it was going to go into maintenance mode or some bullshit like that, but it sounds like they've had some response from BioWare and so forth. It sounds like there's no slowing down of the development process just because they're giving it to another company to do. BioWare just wants to focus on stuff like Dragon Age and so forth. So this is one of those where we'll just have to wait and see how it pans out. But I haven't played SWTOR in a long time. But for those people that still do, I hope that it doesn't mean that it's going to go into maintenance mode or something like that. It's one of those we're going to have to wait and see how it goes. So, anyway, I think that gets us up to date. One of the reasons I did this video is, and if you're watching it this long, you're probably one of the people that are the reason why I did this video. I got several people reached out to me, some on TikTok, through DM on TikTok, some here on YouTube, some on Discord, and so you know who you are. If you're at this point of the video, you already know who you are. So thank you for checking in, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to go ahead and do this video. And now, hopefully that we don't have any travel planned for any time in the future, and we're back to the D&D campaign, and things are back kind of to normal. Maybe I can start doing some more videos on a more frequent basis. So we'll just go from there. And again, cheers. We'll catch you guys on the flip side.